Many of us at least once dreamed of being in Los Angeles. Our main character managed to move to this warm city, which is full of beautiful girls and luxurious life. Everyone will be able to find something for themselves. Quite unexpectedly, the guy realizes what he wants from life and truly falls in love, regardless of the consequences. By watching this retelling to the end, you will learn another side of life in LA, where there are plenty of hunters and huntresses for other people's hearts and wallets. It's Mr. Narrator and a new retelling. Enjoy the video. A young, handsome, and confident guy named Nicky, once again leaving a note, one of the many girls with whom he constantly sleeps. But their relationship doesn't go any further, as the guy has a rule of only one meeting, to maximize his enjoyment of life. Los Angeles is exactly where he's wanted to live since he was a kid, and as we can see, he's succeeded. He's enjoying life to the max and changing girls like a glove. Every night our hunter goes clubbing to find a girl for the next few days. At the entrance is met by friends and gladly let him into the club, as they know why he is here. The guy is scouting out a new target for himself. Along the way he meets his former girlfriends, each of them remembers how good they were at. Finally he goes to the target for the evening. He needs an older girl, as he's looking for a place to live permanently. He assumes it's a well-groomed blonde driving a Mercedes and meets Samantha, who's on her way out. He wants to go with her, but the girl's a bit of a pushover. The guy knows how to insist on his own and finds out if Samantha has a husband or a young man. It turns out the girl lives alone. Nicky shows his charisma and the girl is ready to go home with him. They arrive at her house and the guy doesn't show his excitement about the house and immediately heads to the bedroom. He controls the girl and orders her what to do. She is ready to fulfill any of his orders. After a stormy night, Samantha goes to work and leaves the credit card for the guy to have breakfast. Nicky's goal is accomplished. He settles into the house and goes straight to the pool where breakfast awaits him. According to the guy's strategy, he needs to earn charisma points, and the more points the better for him. A few points for trying to cook dinner, a few points for flowers, and a few for bedroom skills. When Samantha arrives home in the evening, Nicky is waiting for her with dinner ready. He's wooing the girl. It turns out the guy has no money, no house, no job, nothing but his phone, which he deliberately put in front of her on the table so that she would see the message about other girls and get jealous. She doesn't mind that the guy's not from work and he's a bum. She enjoys spending time with him, especially that he's courting her. To score maximum points and to tie a woman to him, he does everything for it. Samantha loves it. They continue to have fun around the house. For that, she buys him brand name things and other gifts, introduces him to her friends. The guy's doing great. Samantha says she has to fly to New York for a few days, but the guy doesn't want to go with her. To keep him from disappearing, she offers him a place to stay at her house, and the guy agrees because that's what he wanted. After he walks Samantha to the airport, she says she's flying in on Thursday and would like Nicky to meet her. Then he goes home and has a party with his friends. His best friend Harry's there. They talk about girls. Nicky shares his experiences to win over as many women as possible. He notices his ex-girlfriend and asks his friend to take her away. Their conversation is interrupted by another friend who wants Nicky to give her a tour of the house. They go to the bedroom. He learns that she was a soccer cheerleader and was very capable. Afterward, he and his friend discuss the girls. In the morning, while Nicky is swimming in the pool and talking on the phone, the cleaning lady comes in and sees that there is a lot of work to be done after the night before. Samantha tells them that their friends are coming over on Thursday and they say goodbye. Nick is then visited by his longtime friend named Emily, who has shown him a lot about life. She makes herself at home where she takes an interest in her friend's new girlfriend. But in return, the guy stops talking and shows that he missed her. In the evening, they discuss plans for the future and Nicky drives her friend away. Afterwards, they have a big game with a soccer fan. Samantha comes back early to surprise them, but sees what they're doing. The guy says he's embarrassed and leaves. The girl stops him to talk. They have a fight and find out what their relationship is. Nicky says they're just friends. The woman decides to kick the guy out but can't as he has nowhere to live, and they passionately reconcile. They continue to live as friends and spend quality time together. One day he goes to a cafe and meets a waitress named Heather. He tries to take her phone number, but it turns out the girl is not crazy about him, so she refuses. The guy wants to at least go for a walk, but here he also gets a refusal. He comes up with a cunning plan, and instead of paying the bill, he writes his phone number on the check and leaves. Instead of calling, Heather finds him at his address and goes to his house to get his money and leaves immediately. When Samantha gets home, she tries to get close to the guy, but he suggests they drive to get lemonade. In the car with a friend, they discuss Heather. Nikki asks for help to win the girl over. They go to a cafe and act out a play to get her attention, but an awkward situation occurs and the phone starts ringing. The girl realizes what's up, bringing breakfast. Heather reveals that his car is being impounded, and the guy tries to persuade Doris not to do it, but he does not succeed. On his return to the cafe, he gets what he wants and Heather gives him her phone number. In the evening, they call each other and the girl says she will call back. Samantha notices this, but leaves without saying anything. In the morning, Nikki goes to a friend's house and complains that Heather still hasn't called him back. The guy realizes that he likes Heather more and more. He's rude to Harry and he kicks Nikki out with his stuff. Later, Heather calls him and invites him to meet at a cafe, which the guy agrees to. He is not used to being late for meetings, but the girl takes the initiative and sits down at the table. Their conversation is interrupted by a phone call, and she leaves. Nikki the guy is perplexed that someone could do this to him, catching up with her on the street. He's shocked to see how she got a car like that, even more perplexed when she tells him to call her back and drives off. In the morning, Samantha realizes that the guy has someone, but he won't admit it. The girl orders him to take her to the hospital and pick her up tomorrow. Afterward, he tries to find the girl at the cafe, but she quit. When he gets home, he gets a text from Heather and he hears that there's someone in the pool. It's her. Nikki is shocked and asks if she has a man. The girl says no. Turns out she was going to see her younger brother who's sick, so she didn't say where she had to go. Nikki calms the girl down. He tells her about himself, but Heather doesn't want to hurry and asks her for a hug. In the morning, they wake up in the same bed and Nikki says he'll repark her car. He discovers the man's cigars and realizes the car isn't hers. Turns out she uses the exact same techniques to seduce guys, so he tosses her the keys and tells her to leave. The next morning, he picks Samantha up from the hospital. She's had special surgery to rejuvenate her. They have to lay off the fun for a few days. After another infidelity, they have another scandal and Nikki dumps the woman. She offers to stay friends and continue having fun as she doesn't want to break up. They make up and he decides to leave. Someone calls him and Samantha snatches the phone and throws it into the pool. As he has nowhere to live, he goes to his friend Emily and asks to stay with her. The girl realizes that Nikki is selfish and not interested in her at all. The girl admits that she has always been in love with him, but he never noticed it, so she doesn't let him in. Finds his friend at the club. He confesses to sleeping with his sister. Harry chases him away. He decides to go to the club to find a new target, but they won't let him in. The next day, his stuff is thrown out and he's kicked out. He sells the brand name stuff for a few dollars to rent a hotel. He realizes this is not the life he dreamed of. Nikki decides to pack up and go hunting again, this time for food. When he sees Heather, his plans change. He tells about his difficult situation, that he has nowhere to live and nothing to eat. The girl decides to help him and invites him to her house for a while. Heather goes with her lover to the store for groceries to have dinner at home. Afterward, they go to a restaurant to find the next target for Heather. This time, it's a millionaire. They work well together as they are both professionals at seduction. The millionaire can't take his eyes off the girl and decides to get to know her. When they get home, they get ready for bed, but in different beds. Nikki sneaks into her room because the couch is too small for him. Nikki falls more and more in love. The next day at dinner, they talk about life and their conversation is interrupted by a girl who guessed Nikki, but the guy doesn't remember her and they say goodbye. They spend more and more time together. Nikki realizes she's seeing someone. The girl gets a letter. She admits it's from the rich fiancé she broke up with. She did it for Nikki because she loves him. Instead of being with her, he goes for a walk. When he returns home, he finds a letter in which the girl says she flew to New York. Nikki calls her to come back. At the store, he meets a soccer fan who invites him to watch the game together. He offers to drive the girl to her house. On the way, she gets sick. At the same time, Heather calls him and the guy apologizes and asks her to come back. Heather finds out that there is another girl next to him and he is sitting in the Mercedes. Heather says goodbye to the guy and the groupie leaves too. When he arrives home, he decides to meet a neighbor named Eva to find out where his beloved is. The girl says that it is necessary to act and right now go to Heather. Arriving at his friend, he apologizes and together they go to the airport. When Nicky arrives in New York, he finds the same address and finds his beloved. He apologizes and wants to return to Los Angeles together. He proposes marriage to Heather, but learns that she already has a husband who has just come home. Thinking it is a food delivery man, he gives $5 and Nicky leaves. Back in Los Angeles, he works as a food delivery man and gets an order to the very house where Samantha lives, and realizes that this guy was once himself. She pays the check and Nicky leaves. It was a 2009 movie called Spread. Write in the comments how you feel about this guy's lifestyle. We see that situations can take an unexpected turn, and the realization only comes after a person loses someone. There is a good side to having true friends who will always support and help in a difficult situation. See you in the next retellings.